Recently, I reviewed the new Casio Automatic, a watch that looked great on paper, but some quality control issues like a misaligned chapter ring and poor bracelet finishing left me feeling very underwhelmed. The point is, when shopping for watches online, it's hard to know how the watch is going to hold up in person. It's easy to judge a spec sheet against the price to determine whether it's good value for money, but that doesn't always tell the full story. That Casio looked to be tremendous value, but the real life experience was disappointing. The reason I mention that is because today I'm going to be reviewing a watch that has over-delivered in almost every single department. It's clear that every single millimeter of this watch has been carefully considered. So although it might not look to be as good value on paper as others, once you actually get up close, it's easy to see just how high quality this watch is. Hello there, my name is Kieran, welcome to Top Tier Ticker. I hope you're having a good day. Now, I'm no stranger to this watch brand. I've reviewed quite a lot of them now, but I think this is their highest quality watch to date. And I think with some of the macro shots that I'm going to show you on this watch today, you'll likely agree with me. Now, this watch has been sent over to the channel for free. I do get to keep it after the video, but as usual, there will be a dedicated flaws section. And if something needs to be said, I'll say it. In fact, I recently ripped a watch from this exact brand. One of their last divers was a watch that honestly disappointed me. So the plan today is to take you through 8 areas of this watch that I think beats the competition, then take you through 4 flaws of this watch that I think could have made it even better. The brand we're covering today is indeed Venezianico. The model we're checking out today is their new Nereide Turchese. Now, there's nothing unusual here with the choice of finishing used on this watch. It features your typical brushed case sides, a small polished chamfered edge, and then brushing on the upper lugs. But just look at the quality and consistency of the finishing here. It's hard to pull off a fine brush like this, as it often shows areas of inconsistency. But playing with the steel against the light shows just how sharp the transition is between each section. And the quality of the finishing really determines the silhouette of the case. If the finishing is sloppy, it can kind of all blend into one. But when sharp like this, each section stands on its own and delivers various points of interest that draws the eye in. Casebacks are something that some collectors don't give a monkey's about. And I get it, you can't see it when you're wearing the watch, but it's always a nice touch when a watch brand cares just as much about the caseback as they do the actual case. Venezianico, simply put, always delivers the best looking casebacks. They use screws instead of a screw down caseback, which means the caseback is always perfectly vertical. And they always feature beautiful artwork. This one features a submarine in the ocean with coral beneath. They clearly hire a very talented artist to draw these things, because every Venezio caseback I've seen has been a delight. One thing that's impossible though to put down on a spec sheet is how the watch operates in hands. Things that you can only learn of after buying the watch. But operating this watch in all areas is a pleasure. The bezel features a deep coin edge finish that's super easy to grip. The crown features an aggressive knurl and is a good size. And the large buckle and keepers allows for you to take the watch on and off without fiddling around. Meaning the physical interaction with the watch is a pleasure and doesn't offer any frustration. Listen, Venezianico makes flashy watches. They want their watches to stand out when on the wrist, and nothing stands out quite like a polished bezel. The only problem is, a polished steel bezel will scratch quicker than your neighbour's cat. To avoid this, Venezianico uses something called tungsten. This is a 9 out of 10 on the Mohs hardness scale, basically the same scratch resistance as a sapphire. So if you like a polished bezel, this is one that you can actually enjoy without the worry of it looking beaten up after a month of use. Stones and mineral dials are frequently used on watches that don't quite work together. For example, a mother of pearl on a field watch is just a strange choice. Now don't get me wrong, I appreciate the juxtaposition, but I think when used correctly, it can complete the aesthetic of a watch. The Nereide uses a piece of genuine turquoise. In my opinion, one of the best looking stones, which was highly valued in ancient cultures. The choice to use turquoise with a diver is perfect. The light blue matches the ocean vibes flawlessly, and it makes the watch feel like it belongs on a Mediterranean beach. The issue with stone dials though is that they can often be overwhelming, occasionally ruining legibility, and therefore destroying the whole point of a watch, being able to read the time. But the polished applied elements to the dial, alongside a polished fence post handset, was a great choice. They pop well against the turquoise, which allows you to still appreciate the beauty of the stone, whilst being able to read the actual time. A flat sapphire with anti-reflective treatment aids great clarity, so even though this dial is jam-packed with detail, timekeeping is still a focus. Value for money and choice of movement go hand in hand. For example, you wouldn't pay £1,000 for a watch powered by the Seiko NH35. When paying more, you obviously want a more premium movement. This watch uses the Sellita SW200-1, and at this price range, it's one of the more affordable watches using this movement. Tag Heuer uses it in their watches that cost $3,000, so it's nice to get it in a watch that costs under £1,000. Now, I don't typically wear larger watches. Nothing to do with how they look on wrist, they're just usually not comfortable on my smaller wrist size. But Venezianico managed to make a 42mm diver both look and feel great. The lug to lug is 49mm, which helps, but the 12mm thickness is probably what makes it. It of course still offers a lot of wrist presence because of the vibrant blue and the polished bezel, but it's still a pleasure to wear. I've worn smaller watches that aren't as comfortable, again, a good indication of thoughtful design. Although I appreciate a framed date window, and I do think it blends quite well here, it will never ever compete with a 6 o'clock date. I think it's about time they moved the date window on the whole Nereide range down to the 6 o'clock. Now the strap here doesn't feature quick release spring bars, which again I think is a big miss. Although the strap is brilliant and matches the turquoise dial well, quick release is always something that I want to see. That polished bezel is a fingerprint magnet. Simply using the bezel, to turn it, it leaves fingerprints behind, so expect to be cleaning this thing a few times a day. Now, I've not mentioned lume, it's BGW9 and it's pretty good here. The only problem is I think they've missed a trick by not applying it to the whole bezel markings. They've applied it to the triangle at 12 o'clock, but nothing else has it. Next time, Venezianico, full lume, please. Okay, so this watch is launching on pre-order for a discounted price. €1,150 is full retail price. Pre-order though will cost you €920. That includes all taxes and import duties to the UK. And obviously you're already covered for those things if you live within the EU because they're located in Italy. I have zero clue what the current deal is with tariffs to the USA. It's all a big mess at the moment, so please do your own research in that department. Venezianico doesn't run pre-orders where you have to wait half a year to get the watch. Shipments begin just 2 weeks after pre-order, which I think is a good system because, you actually get a pre-order discount here, but you don't have to wait that long for it. I think the price here absolutely reflects the quality on offer, especially with the use of a Swiss movement. The turquoise dial is an excellent addition to the Nereide range. Obviously, you'll have to be on board with this vibrant blue. It is a little bit flashy, but if you are, you certainly won't be disappointed with the quality. I'll of course leave this one linked below if you want to read a little bit more about it. You can also get a bracelet for this watch if, the rubber strap isn't your thing. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it, catch you soon, bye for now.